Hey guys, Mike here, the Detroit Borg, with a look at the Logitech Solar Keyboard Folio case for the iPad 2 and the iPad 3. Now this retails for $129.99 and it's fairly pricey, but let's take a look around to see what we get for that money. So this is a Folio style case, so it completely protects the iPad but adds a Bluetooth keyboard integrated into the case and charges via solar cells. So no wires, no batteries to change here. It's entirely self-sufficient. Connects via Bluetooth obviously, since all keyboards connecting to the iPad have to connect via Bluetooth or physical connection. So what we have here is interactive packaging, which is kind of interesting. So you can open this up and take a look around the case itself. There's actually magnets in the packaging itself, not in the case but in the packaging, which keep it closed. So here you can take a look at the keyboard, and you have a little window here to test out the keys. So if you're in the Best Buy or any electronics store, you can take a look around to see if you like the keys. So this is a chiclet style keys, very similar to Apple's Bluetooth keyboard. It has that same sort of travel, same sort of feel to it. We also have one of its key features demonstrated here, which is its positions. Now, unlike most keyboards that just, I don't know, sort of allow you to slot this into different positions, this actually has some functionality to it. So when you move it into the keyboard position or the typing position here, it actually activates the Bluetooth keyboard. So there's no on and off switch here. You just move it into the keyboard position and it turns on the Bluetooth keyboard and pairs with the iPad. As soon as you move it out of that position, or if you close it, it turns off the keyboard and you're good to go. A lot of keyboards, they stay permanently connected to it and you have to physically turn it off, or you have to go to the iPad to eject the keyboard. You also have a media position here, which turns the front row of keys into media controls for your movies or music, and we'll demonstrate that. So let's go ahead and take it out of its packaging to see what we get. Now, I've already cut the tabs here, so all you have to do is lift it up, and we can slide it out. But first, let's take a look at the literature here. We have the Logitech guide, which tells us a little about the product, about what the buttons do, how to install the iPad, how to pair the Bluetooth keyboard to the iPad. So let's go ahead and take a look around. We also have our important information guide, which we don't care about. Peel that back, slide it out. So now we can take a look around the case. So on the inside we have our tray here for installing the iPad, which is actually a soft plastic, so it also provides plenty of protection for the iPad surface. This won't scratch it or trap dirt that might scratch the iPad. We also have our cutouts here, obviously, for the camera, the buttons, our headphone jack, our microphone, our speakers, our dock connector, that sort of thing. Inside we have this polyurethane material, just like on the outside. It's got the same sort of texture to it, so it's also soft material to protect the iPad. Now the keyboard itself also has some instructions on it on how to install the iPad, how to configure it and set it up, and how to use settings under your iOS device to connect it, or your iPad in this case. So we have our full keyboard here, which is not a full-size keyboard in the traditional sense. It's a little crushed together, obviously, to fit the width of the iPad, but it feels pretty full-size. It's actually fairly comfortable. We have a lot of dedicated keys here, which we'll demonstrate once we get the iPad connected. So around the outside, you can see we have our solar cells here, which are covered in plastic. We're going to take that off. So there you go. Again, this will charge with either solar light or artificial light. Now, installing the iPad is easy. All you have to do is drop it into the frame, push it at the corners, and it kind of snaps into place. And you can see it does covers the edge of the iPad very minimally, so it doesn't obscure the bezel at all, and it's pretty snug in there. So you can easily pop it out simply by flexing the frame and it pops out, or snapping it over the edge to snap it back on. Now with our iPad installed, we can take a look around. So on the front we have our polyurethane material here. Again, very soft material, again very similar to the Smart Cover or Smart Case from Apple. We have our Logitech branding here along with our solar cells. Now these are under a sort of a flexible plastic, so these will not shatter with use. I know that was my concern when I saw that. I thought, well, if that's glass, that's going to break. But no, it's pretty durable. On the back we have our hinge here for operating or positioning the iPad into those two positions, typing or media mode. We also have our camera cutout along with cutouts for the sleep-wake switch, volume rocker, and rotation or mute switch. Cutout for the 30-pin dock connector, as well as for the microphone and headphone jack. Now these buttons do look like they're hard to operate, but it's not. You actually can get your finger in there to operate just fine. So the other thing here is we have a cutout for the, or perforations for the speaker to operate. So this actually doesn't muffle the speaker. It actually seems to enhance the quality of the speaker, largely because the audio sort of bounces off this material and back to the user. So I think it actually enhances the audio of the iPad. Now